I'm getting like creme brulee on the nose.
On 24?
Yeah. I mean, that is almost confectionery. It's like a French dessert kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming creme brulee is French. Those are all French words, right? Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I'm Matt.
I'm Jason.
And I just want to say, man, it has actually been a pleasure doing this show with you.
You're welcome.
I'm happy I had this opportunity to do the show. I've had a blast, but this is unfortunately going to be our last episode.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Our show is going to be coming to its anticlimactic conclusion now because we are going to get sued right after this because we are using an image of Maker's Mark wax.
Don't let that red wax get in there, man.
Yeah. Can you still get sued if like part of the wax is broken?
That's a good point. Good question. I think you could.
You still can. Mm-hmm. Maker's Mark will sue you if you use an image of dripping wax on any of your products. I'm hoping they'll forgive us since we actually have a Maker's Mark.
We'll tag them though to see if we can get some cease and desist.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Instead of shutting us down, you should sponsor us, and then we will drink.
We would take that sponsorship.
Yeah. But we have the 2024 release of the Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. Not quite brand new. We couldn't hold out. This episode has been a long time coming, so we had to dip into it. Jason did anyway. I haven't. I
don't know what happened to it. I don't know.
I have not tried it yet. We did an episode on the 2023, and it was really good. Do you have the 2023?
I think I do.
We brought both. We got to do a side by side.
Oh, for sure.
This is the 2024.
Yep.
You need to proceed in telling us a little bit about this.
I can do it, man. So very excited for this release. Super excited for last year's, the 2023. This is the first time Makers has done, to my knowledge, this is the first time Makers has done a release that's older than probably 8 years old.
Yeah.
So the first year they did it was, I think, 11 and 12-year-old blend, and then this one's a 12 and 13-year blend.
Okay.
So it's pretty old stock. Now, What they did with this, what the cellar age part
that
is,
wasn't the same juice just a year later, was it?
So yeah, I mean,
Do you see what I'm
essentially,
saying?
it's their. Yeah, I do see what you're saying, but it's their. Yes, so Makers pretty much just has that mash bill, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the same mash bill, so it's like one big pool of stock, and they'll put it in barrels and then do whatever. Yeah. But the way they age these, this is cellar age, so essentially like a cave. So it's a limestone cellar. Have you ever been to Makers on their property?
No.
So you got to want to get there. It's in Loretto, Kentucky. Yeah, middle of nowhere.
Really?
So
you've been there.
Yeah. Let me back up and tell you a little bit about what I've been doing lately, which ties in right with this.
Okay.
So they did a release. They did 3 days of releases: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, which is about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So me, Jordan, and Jesse went up there, drove up in the morning. The gates opened, I think, at 6 a.m.
Okay.
We got there at 4:15 in the morning.
Jesus Christ.
It's about an hour and a half drive from here.
Really?
So it was a fun drive.
Why
up
didn't you
there.
just like pitch a tent in the parking lot?
Great question. They won't let you.
Really?
That's actually a great question. I'm gonna tie that in too. So they would not let you on the property at all to line up. Even your cars outside the property till 6 a.m.
They can't, but they can't stop you from parking on the side of the road, can they?
They can on their property because they own. It's like think of it as a college campus. Like it's huge.
Jesus. Okay.
So we get there, we pull up to the front, and there's a those signs on buildings that like kind of scroll, like it'll say like a scroll, like it'll be a small one about that thick.
Yeah.
It's like the scores of this game is this or something.
Yeah, I know.
That's what they had freestanding under a tent by the entrance.
Huh.
So I pull the car up and I'm reading that. And it's like, you can't park here until this. While I'm reading it, blue lights get behind me. Dude, cop comes up to the car.
Shut up.
Like, hey, you can't be here. I was like, yeah, I know. I just saw it. I'm trying to read. I'm sorry.
It's like, give me 10 seconds to turn around.
He's like, no, it's all good. You just can't park anywhere on the property. So we drove up and we see all these cars circling. People's like, it's like sharks swimming.
Yeah.
Right? So
that is quite literally the best metaphor you probably could have.
100%.
Like just cars driving around.
Oh, yeah.
We can't park anywhere, so we got to keep moving.
Yeah.
But they're going to release it at any second. We got to be first in line.
And when you say sharks, I mean, essentially a lot of these guys are because they're flipping these. I mean, and I can't crush them too bad because I've sold bottles. I mean, I'm not going to lie about that, but I also drink a whole lot. We open a whole lot on our show. You know what I mean? So like this one, I've already opened this one. So, but anyway, we show up there, so we don't know what the hell we're going to do. We're driving around and we go up to the top and I'm like, well, this is off the property. There's 3 trucks parked there right off the property, so I jump behind them. And just so happened, we sit there about an hour. Then the cop comes up there and talks to the first guy in line, told him to go on. So here we go. So we were number 5 in line going through. So you go through first.
I think it's hilarious you got up at 3 a.m. and you were number 5
about 2:45.
Yeah.
Actually, we probably should have been 25 in line, but
really?
we kind of skipped a few that way. You know? So anyway, we get there. We go through the gate. They send you through like a little snake. Then they walk up to your car door and give you a theater ticket, like a cheap-ass ticket.
Did they have like railing where you had to like walk back and forth?
They had cones, and then one truck just ran over, just trashed it, dragging it through the parking lots.
How long was the line? Like
there was 250 tickets given out. They were all gone within 45 minutes.
I feel like there should be like a sign at the end that's got rulers like you need to be this tall to like buy bourbon.
So then when we go up there, you park and they come up to your truck window or car window and give you that ticket. Yeah. And all it is an old theater ticket with like a handwritten Sharpie.
Yeah.
And my number I got was 250. They just reached in and grabbed it out.
Right.
So essentially I got the last ticket.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
So then we have 3 hours to kill.
Okay.
So we have to go Bardstown, hang out, whatever.
Come
back.
Yeah.
Come back. Get in line again at the damn distillery. So go up there.
But you're guaranteed a bottle.
Guaranteed a bottle. Yeah. Then we get in line again. It's like I don't know what this place was. So it's like an art exhibit almost. So you go up there. You don't buy the bottle. You give them your ticket. You get another ticket. Then you have to walk down through the campus to the real gift shop, purchase your bottle.
It's a scavenger hunt.
It is a scavenger hunt.
To get your bottle.
But it is a beautiful
campus. And it starts
campus.
out like survivor mode where you all have to basically fight to the death in order to get in.
Yeah, we had some shanks in the cars, just in case. Just in case.
Yeah, Brick had a grenade.
And on top of this, it was pouring the rain that morning. It was just pouring the rain.
Did you kill a man with a trident?
Not that we can admit to. But we got there, so the campus is beautiful. It really is. And then on the way to the main gift shop where you bought the bottle, you can see the cellar. So it's like in the side of a hill. Awesome. That's kind of like dug out into limestone. They actually offer tours now on the Maker's Mark. I think it's a cellar age tour, and I think you can buy bottles if you are lucky enough to get a ticket to that tour.
Buy bottles of the cellar age. Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
So one of our friends of the show, Kenny.
Wait, what do you mean lucky enough to get a ticket for the tour?
So if anybody's been around bourbon, like if you want to get a tour for Buffalo Trace, when they put them online every 3 months. Like if you want to get a tour for April, you get that in February or something, Yeah. So when they put theirs on, Makers are going to sell it pretty quick too. Not as fast as Buffalo Trace, but fast.
Gotcha, okay.
So one of our friends, Kenny, had been there. He went on a tour in the cellar, but he got to purchase a bottle, but it was 2023. They hadn't released this one yet.
Gotcha, okay.
So anyway, he did say he got to try on their tour some true barrel-proof bourbon that was aged as well, like not blended like this one. So single barrel-proof bourbon for Makers, which they really don't do.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. It seemed like a pretty cool tour.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
So then, though, we got the bottle. That's so let's give it a try, and I'll tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. Let's so
get this fresh pop.
First time ever for the second time.
First time ever.
I'm going to go...
Which one you going?
23, 24, left, right. Cool. I mean, that left, right. That'd be the easiest way, right?
So right will be 24?
Yeah.
Okay. So on this one, some specs on it. I'm going to read off my phone a little bit. So it's $175 MSRP. Okay. So essentially out the door, you're probably 200 M, roughly.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Again, 12 to 13 year aged, Maker's Mark. I mean, you're not getting this. You don't see this bottle.
No.
It's very hard to come by. I don't think it's been released nationally yet, or just recently was.
Okay. You can leave that up here.
You're good. Secondary on this one, let's go ahead and talk about that one. So when anything first comes out, released, the secondary value skyrockets. So I think the first bottle sold I saw was maybe like $500 or $600.
I love that we have to like coincidentally open it when we're opening it. It's like right by the mic, so it's just it's amplified.
For sure.
These mics are working great.
The mics are a game changer.
Yeah.
So talking secondary, when it first comes out, $500-$600. Now it's down to about probably $400 or so. So essentially double price.
Nuts,
double price.
Yeah.
If you look at some of the Buffalo Trace products or some other rare stuff, they're more than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the 23 version, the one we're looking at here, this was only $150.
Only.
So it went up $25 on this one. Again, the 23 was 11 and 12-year-old. Yeah. That one is 12 and 13.
Okay. I'm going to start with 24.
Okay. I'm for it.
So here's the question. Are you a Maker's drinker on the regular?
Good question. So No.
That's the short answer.
Yeah, I think if you go out though, like I was in the event of the night. I'm looking at the the selections there. Most bars will have makers as like probably a higher end pour. And if I'm looking at that between that and any bar you go, like a hotel bar or just a basic bar, not in Lexington.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. This was not.
You mean
Lexington.
out of town? Okay.
Yeah. If you go to like an airport bar or something,
Right.
they're not going to have something usually high end.
Yeah.
But their high end's probably Makers in Woodford.
Yep.
Between those two, I flip a coin.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
But Makers weeded, so I mean, I really like this one.
Yeah. So Costco has a big bottle makers, and it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So that has been like an on and off go to for a mixing bourbon whenever we go to Costco, because we get all of our big bottles of liquor at Costco because they're the cheapest, But yeah, well, like every other time I'll get makers and then I'll get like Turkey 101.
Yeah,
and they're all just like big, like 1.75.
Now, Turkey 101's my jam. So,
Yeah, I agree, but you got to change it up,
Yeah.
And I'm mixing it anyway, so it kind of gives it like a little different nuance.
For sure.
Yeah.
No. I think Makers is a good bourbon. Like I don't have any qualms about it.
Yeah,
But you look at the age.
It's ubiquitous. I mean,
Correct.
It's not like I'm not going to get it if I don't get it now.
Yeah. It's good if you go to Keeneland or something like the horse race here in Kentucky, Lexington. I mean, it's great to have a drink with that for sure. So regular Makers, the ones we're just talking about, those are 6 to 7 year old, aged usually by like rumor. It's not verified. They don't have an age statement.
Yeah.
So it's less than half of what these are essentially.
Yeah. So this has got a little more. It's a little more refined.
It is, and then the 24 blend, the one we're trying first, it's 119.3 proof.
Okay.
It has a 15% of the blend is 12 year old, and 85% is 13 year old. Okay. So it's pretty aged there. Oh, I smell.
The 2024 compared to the 2023, I'm getting like creme brulee on the nose.
On 24?
Yeah, like that is almost confectionery. It's like a French dessert kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming creme brulee is French. Those are all French words, right? Is that right?
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you.
This is as close as I can come. Yeah. Yeah. Do you get that? It's like custard. It's almost like a like a torched custard.
So I have mine in 2 separate glasses. So I have our arsenic culture, the one with the skull in the bottom.
Yes, sir.
Where it tapers to the top.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little more alcohol in that one. Try a sniff on that. That's 24. 24. So it smells a little.
Oh yeah.
It like hits you. You know what I mean?
You almost have to pull back a little bit.
So in this one, I feel like that your glass actually gives you a better nose than this one does.
Yeah. Do you want to stick your nose in my glass?
I absolutely do. Wait. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There. So it's I get a lot more flavor on that one, nose flavor, than I do on this one.
Yeah. That really condenses it. You just got to kind of ration which nostril you're getting out of it.
It does.
It does.
So have you tried it yet?
No. I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna critique your drink. So Jason's putting it up to his lips right now. He's sucking air through his mouth. He's pulling it through his teeth.
And exhale.
See that video? Did you see that video I sent you where the guy's doing the review? And he's like, what you want to do?
We got a shit ton of views
that's
on
right,
all our social
I
media.
forgot about that. The guy's like, so first thing you got to do is pour a little bit of whiskey in a glass and swirl it around and then throw it away. And he throws the whiskey on the wall like fucking lunatic.
So 2024, first sip is good.
Yeah.
It's the second time I've had it too. So I'm not going to spoil the review and tell you what I'm getting from it, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get some of that on the palate
taste,
too.
For sure. For sure.
Man, yeah. Yeah. I would venture to say that I think I like that quite a bit more than the regular.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, proof point wise, I think regular, without looking it up, I think it's 94 proof.
Okay.
For Makers, I believe that's right. And this one's like 120, we'll say.
Yeah.
Going for 23 now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the 23. So I gotta make sure that 24 is fresh on my mouth hole.
Now, Makers does do a lot of different stuff finishing wise. So they'll do a finishing series, a wood series, different wood like staves in there putting in.
Yeah.
French oak, all these different things. You have Makers 46.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of offerings, but essentially it's one thing.
Yeah.
They just kind of, fix it up, I guess.
The 23 is great too. Still great. So it's not. I feel like it's maybe not quite as sweet. It's very similar, but I feel like it's pretty noticeable. That kind of like a creme brulee sweetness.
Yeah.
What do you think is constituting that? It's not a year of age, is it? I mean, it almost has to be, but like, what's the proof on?
I don't think it's the age, and here's why. So when they put this in the cellar, the limestone cellar,
right,
or the limestone rickhouse, whatever they want to call it, they don't age it the entirety of the barrel's life in that. They age it in rickhouses first, about half the time, and then put in the cellar.
There you go. Okay.
But the reason they do that, in my opinion, is it's to. They say that I guess there's different flavors and stuff in parts, but my thing is it's going to let it age slower, meaning you lose less whiskey, right? So you don't lose the angel share as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Buffalo Trace is a temperature control warehouse too.
Yeah.
And that one they have like their older, like 15 years and up, Pappy, all this stuff, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you what they want, but honestly, for me, I think it's yield. You're getting better yield on it.
Of course, yeah.
And you might age it.
It's the bottom line.
Yeah, you age it 5 years in there, but really it's probably like 1.5.
Right.
You know? But I mean, that could have imparted some of the flavor on it.
It's got to be. So I'm looking at the proof of these, and it's like the 23 is 115 proof, a little closer to 116, and this 24 is 119. They're not that far off. They got a year between them. It's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, I think it's a noticeable difference, but I think they are similar.
I think the 2024, if you're drinking it fresh, and this has been open less than a week, so probably 5 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
But it's a little hotter. There's a little more alcohol coming through on it than the 23, but this bottle's been open a year.
Yeah.
So,
I think that might be your glass. Like, I don't think it is. I feel like it's not. No, I don't. I think they're on that level. I think they're about the same.
It's okay to be wrong.
Is it? Mr. Sniffer glass.
So I was wrong. I'll go ahead and tell you this. So regular Makers is 90 proof.
Okay.
I thought it was 94. There was something when I looked that up. It just reminded me of this. So I think it was in 2013, Makers changed their proof.
Right. I remember you telling me this.
They went from 90 proof to 84.
Yeah.
So I actually got a bottle of that. They released them, but it was out for like a day.
Yeah.
And then
was it like an accident or something?
No. So they did it and said it was to stretch their supply, make their supply last longer. It wouldn't change the flavor. It's always made to taste.
People got pissed.
People got absolutely crazy about it. So, but I did get one of those bottles when they recalled them. Yeah.
Is it still unopened?
Still unopened. Yeah.
That reminds me. Do you remember when a new Coke came out?
Yeah.
People lost their shit.
Yep.
And they were like, I guess the only podcast I really listen to besides our own is Stuff You Should Know. They did an episode on like Coke.
What did they say about that?
It was like the worst business decisions ever. And it was like Pepsi was like beating Coke's ass for some reason. Like their sales were through the roof and they were like rubbing in Coke's face. Coke was like, what are we going to do? Let's issue new Coke. And then they came out and they're like, we got this new recipe and this new flavor and it tastes better than ever. And everybody was like, fuck you, bring us back regular Coke. This is the worst shit I've ever tasted. And they were like basically picketing outside of like Coca-Cola. And they're like, it was like 3 months. And like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, we'll go back. You can have like regular Coke back.
Now it's classic, right?
Yeah, then they went back and they got Coca-Cola Classic. And that was just like, no, don't do that. Not to your diehard faithful. Yeah, you got to keep the shit the same.
You talked about Pepsi. You remember Pepsi Clear?
Yes.
So I was watching something about this the other night, some YouTube video or something. Do you know what the difference was between that and regular Pepsi?
Like flavor-wise or
flavor-wise. Ingredient-wise, whatever.
No, I mean, I assume there's no food coloring.
That's all it was. All they did was take the caramel coloring out.
Right, but you know what? And this is
it tasted different.
It did.
It tasted different.
This is one of those classic examples of like being told and like shown that things are the same, but your brain's like, no,
100%.
You're wrong.
Yep.
And then you could put them side by side and be like, nope, there is a huge fucking difference.
I wish they still made it because we'd blinded on the show.
I bet we could get one from like Japan or something.
That would be. I'd love to try it, but it tasted different to me every single time when I had it.
I agree. And I remember it came out and I bought a bottle because it only came in bottles, didn't it? Did it come in cans?
I don't know that it came in cans. I think it was only bottles.
I remember it came in bottles.
Maybe plastic bottles, but still.
And I was excited. We were kids. We were like, oh, something new. And I tried it and I was like, that's not Pepsi. And then like, I was like, I think I like the regular better. But then I tried it again. And I tried it like 4 or 5 times because I was like, I don't understand why my brain is telling me that this is a different product. And I knew. Yeah. I think I had read or somebody told me. I was like, yeah, it's the same thing, just no food coloring. And I think that was another cost-saving measure.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, oh, a few drops of dye. But imagine, billions and billions of bottles that goes in, how much money you would actually save on the bottom line. That has to be the only reason.
Well, it's also like something fresh and new, right? Like, kids like, oh, I want clear Pepsi. Yeah. Right? I mean, I was buying it.
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
Like I said, I bought like 5 or 6 bottles, but I was just like,
That was back when I was drinking about a case of pop a day.
yeah.
Not really, but close.
We've gone way off on a tangent, but I love this conversation.
Yeah.
So one time, my mom bought a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper, and I binged Nintendo for like 6 hours. I can't remember what I was playing. I think I was playing Contra.
6 hours is nothing.
Yeah, I know. But I was playing Contra, but I was like, I wasn't using the cheat code. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was like getting into it. And I opened a Dr. Pepper and I was like, drank it. And I was like, I'm still thirsty. I want another one. I drank the second one. And I was like, I'm not really thirsty anymore, but that was pretty good. So I opened a third one. Dude, I was sitting there playing and I looked down. I had gone through the entire 12-pack within like 2 hours. And I was like, your mouth gets that real dry, kind of cracked feeling. Your lips are like all puckered and stuff. And I'm like, what did I just do? I didn't know what diabetes was, but I was like, I know I have it. Like, I just got diabetes.
Well, the problem with drinking pop like that, you never quench your thirst.
It is addictive.
And you never quench your thirst.
By its nature, it's addictive. And that's why it's so bad for you. That's one of the huge reasons why it's so bad.
I know we're off topic, but here, growing up, my grandma and grandpa had a carport. So for people who don't know what that is, I assume everybody does, but you might not. It's a garage, essentially, with no, like, sides. Like, it's open air kind of thing with the roof. So on their carport, they had a refrigerator, full refrigerator, and in that refrigerator was nothing but pop.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't like Pepsi and Coke. It was Czech. It was from Winn-Dixie,
Yeah,
right?
I remember that.
Martin used to drive the Czech car.
Yeah.
So you had a regular Czech, Diet Czech, Mountain Dew, like all their versions. We had all this pop.
I'm trying to remember the versions. Did they have RC?
No, not RC.
Was that too mainstream?
Different, too mainstream. Too mainstream. I mean, Czech was... It was good, but it was cheap as shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And their fridge was
Didn't they sell like
always
Winn-Dixie
full.
or something
That's
like that?
That's what I said. Yeah, Winn-Dixie. Yeah.
But
it was always full, and even the neighborhood kids would come by, just walk up on the carport and grab a pop.
Yeah.
You know
Mountain
what I mean?
Lightning, you remember that?
That was Save-A-Lot brand. Yeah.
Mountain Lightning.
I used to work there.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I got some good stories about Save-A-Lot stocking. So.
Oh, my God. Do you remember, what was the energy drink? They put guarana in it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. It had the damn leopard on it.
Yes. What was it?
It might be Josta.
Was it Josta?
Maybe.
I'm gonna look that up.
You gotta look that up.
I remember that
We're
was
on a tangent, but this is worth it.
I remember that was a that was being released. So this was before like the internet was around. You know what I mean?
Coke made it, I believe, that energy drink.
Yep, I think you're right. This was before the internet was even a thing. So you couldn't just like Google something, you know what I mean? And it had like gone through the grapevine. Like kids were like, dude, there's a soda coming out and they have like injected it with drugs and we need to go and buy all of it so that way we can get fucked up. And we're like, hell yeah. Dude, we stood outside of the Rite Aid at Park Hill Center over off of Man of War. We rode our bikes up there and we're waiting for like the Coke truck to come up. I mean, it was like doing a bottle release now. You know what I mean? Like Bourbon comes out.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I'm looking. I'm looking. Is this going to drive me insane? It is Josta. That's 100% what it is.
Yep, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Josta
it's like a
soda.
panther on it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember I drank that.
That was actually Pepsi.
Is it
not
Pepsi?
Coke. I thought it was.
I remember I drank that and I was like, I'm so amped up. But I was like, and after like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, I think it's just the sugar.
Both. So why was it discontinued? Mounting costs led to its corporate I don't know what the hell that word is, but
What is it? I'll read it for
it's
you.
like strategy, but I don't know what that is.
Stratagems.
What the
Corporate
fuck is that?
stratagems.
What is that?
It's like the noun version of strategy.
Yeah, that's not real.
Yeah.
Led its corporate
George Bush will
stratagems
tell
by
you all about it.
1999 to dictate the termination of Josta product after only 4 years.
Wow.
I mean, I bet if you can find a can of that, it's worth some money.
Yeah. That might have been one of the best tangents we've ever had.
I agree.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, that's what we should
We
do.
need to do like an episode of nothing but like crazy
We need to
sodas.
find some of those. I bet you can get them. I bet you can buy them like at eBay or some shit. I mean, even if it's $25, $30 a can, it'd be fucking worth it, you know?
We should take our Maker's Cellar Age 2024 and just mix it with all the different kinds of generic soda.
Yeah.
And see which one's the best. And then your bottle will be empty and you will be $400 out the door.
Actually, just $175. We're good.
Yeah, because you pay costs. So this bourbon is fantastic. I'm glad you brought it over. I do like the 2024 a little better than 23, but I think they're both good.
Yeah, so when I tried this another night, I had it with both. I prefer the 24 overall.
Yeah.
But I do think I'd like to see them both fresh cracked. So I know science will tell us there's not a lot of changes. There's 100% a lot of changes, though. I know there is.
Yeah.
So this is a year old, essentially. That's less than a week old.
The 2024,
It should it tastes different, and it does. You said creme brulee. I get that. I could see like it's like that burnt caramel, like a not burnt. That's not the right word, but just reduced. I guess would be the
Oh,
way.
you're thinking of a creme brulee.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Not heard of that? It's French.
Yeah. Okay, that's why.
I'm pretty sure it's French.
I kind of get the spices like baking spice.
Yeah,
I can pick
I do
that
too,
out,
actually.
and
I do
then
too, actually.
I get a little bit of vanilla. It's already in there, and then the sweetness.
Yeah.
I think it's a weeded part of it. It's very good. I enjoy this product.
I love opening these bottles that you could sell for money, and then we're like enjoying it, because that's what this shit is supposed to be about.
Yeah, but it's worth trying. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah. And then now you can drink it whenever you want, instead of being like, I wonder what it would have tasted like if I didn't sell it. For more Arsenic Culture, check us out on all the socials. We are at Arsenic Culture, and we'll see you on the next one.